Yeah, good morning, girls. Today we are going to start a new topic, that is exception handling. So, what is exception handling, and how do you use it in Java for the execution or with, of the program, with successful execution of the program, uh, or how to handle the errors. That is what we are going to discuss in exception handling in Java. So, what is exception handling? Exception handling um, is one of the powerful mechanism to handle the runtime errors so that normal flow of the application can be maintained. So, when you are executing the program, uh, there is a chance or there occur so many errors which can be classified again into two types, like compile time errors and runtime errors. So those compile time errors can be rectified when you go through the program, but runtime errors can will have to be handled. Why? Because when you compile the program won't show any error. But when you run the program, they may arise an error, which may result in the abrupt ending of the program. So, in such cases, you know, to avoid such abruptions or abrupt ending of the program or losing of the data, you will use this exception handling mechanism. So, exception, what is exception? Exception is an abnormal condition. So, I mean, the general, which disrupts the general execution of the program, normal flow of the program. See, exception is an event that disturbs the normal flow of the program. It is an object which is thrown at runtime. So when you compile the program, it may not show any error, but when you run the program, it may give rise to errors. So such errors are called exceptions, which have to be handled, or else which will cause a lot of damage or disturbance in your program. So, how to handle such kind of problems or exceptions is what we are going to learn in this exception handling. So this exception handling is a complete mechanism where you have some, where you have to set your whole program, whatever program you write, you have to put it in the form of blocks like try, catch, uh, finally blocks. So how you have to organize these blocks? How many blocks will be there in one program? This is all what we are going to learn in exception handling. So, what is the advantage of exception handling? So to say, what it is saying, it disrupts the normal flow. So to maintain the normal flow of the application, you will be using the exception handling mechanism. So even though an exception arises in your program, your flow of execution shouldn't be disrupted. It should be handled. It should be handled such that you can continue with the rest of the program in a normal manner. I mean, the place where you find the problem has to be handled, or it should show you the error that this is the place where you are having the exception, and execute the other statements of the program as it is. So it should not result in the abrupt ending of the program. So an exception normally disrupts the normal flow of the application. That is why we use exception handling. See, so if you have 10 statements in your program and some exception is arising at the fifth statement, so generally, what happens? The 6th to 10th statements will not be executed. When you are generally write without exception, you write the program, this is what happens. So your program will end with the fifth line of your program. The lines which are there from 6 to 10 are not executed because it is we are not handling. We are just uh, ending the program. The program gets ended there. Instead of that, if you use this exception handling mechanism, the rest of the statement will get executed. So these other five statements will also get executed and show you where the actual error arises, this can be done through this exception handling mechanism. So this is the most important and powerful mechanism of Java in handling the errors of your program. So see, again, the main thing which we have to notice here is this exceptions. Whatever we are saying, exception is a class in Java. So how this exception class, where it is coming from, it is the part of lang package. Sorry. See, java.lang.throwable class is the root class of Java exception hierarchy. So your exception class is the subclass of this throwable class. This throwable class is is a part of this lang package. So we will see how these classes can be inherited. So these two classes, exception and error, are inherited from this throwable class. So see here. So this is your throwable class. Here, these are the subclasses of this throwable class: exception class and error class. And in the exception class, you have, see, these are the classes, subclasses you have again: IO exception, SQL exception, class not found exception, and runtime exception. So runtime, these are all the exceptions which come under your exception class. This is so this is your error class. So error class will contain these errors: stack overflow error, virtual machine error, out of memory error. So see, what is an exception and what is an error. So exceptions can again be classified into two types. One is checked exception and the other one is unchecked exception. So checked exceptions are what? Those exceptions which can be found out at the compile time itself. So such type of exceptions are called checked exceptions. I mean, when you like if you're writing system.out.println and you are writing the capital S small, but actually system is a class. So the class name should start with a capital letter. So it will show you an error. error. That is checked exception. So these will be shown you at the runtime, compile time itself. So they are called checked exceptions. Unchecked exceptions. Unchecked exceptions are those which occur at the runtime, or that is what we actually handle. Those are, these all errors which are like this: IO exceptions, SQL exception, all these are runtime exceptions or unchecked exceptions. All these come under your unchecked exceptions. So these have to be handled using this exception handling mechanism. So what is an error? Error is something which you can't handle. So when an error arises, so automatically the program has to end to save your system from caching. So for example, if you're trying to divide, so if you're trying to divide a number, so for example 5 by some 0, which will result in infinity, so this is an error which will not show you any error at the time of execution or compile time error or runtime error. So in such cases, your what you say program will go into indefinite loops. In such cases, these types of error will arise. So errors will cause the abrupt ending of the program. Programmer must be very much careful such that these errors won't arise, because he can't handle the errors. These checked and unchecked exceptions can be handled by the program, but the errors, they can't be handled by the programmer. So see, stack overflow error. So when your stack is full but it's still trying to put some data into it, such kind of errors will arise. Or when your JVM is full, I mean JVM memory is full, then that also will give you some errors which will result in the abrupt ending. But the programmer has to be very much careful so that these kind of errors won't arise, because these can't be handled. And even if this type of exceptions arise, we can handle them. So this is about your exceptions introduction. So tomorrow we will discuss about these exceptions in detail. So thank you. If you have any doubt, ping me in the group.